We're here with Sara.
Hello.
Sara, what do you do for work?
I'm a therapist, mental health therapist.
Mental health therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just talking, what is one advice that you would give to the general public to have a healthy mindset, healthy mental health?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of aspects to that. I know we were just chatting about how we're in a technological era with social media that people always tend to post the best of themselves, and it can be very easy to compare ourselves to the best versions of ourselves, but we're never going to post the hard stuff. And so I think something that I always like to tell my clients is, one, to be in tune with your body, in tune with your emotions and what's going on, and being able to reach out to the support systems that you have when you're needing those supports.
Reach out to the support system that you have.
Yeah, reaching out to your support systems, because a lot of times, like we talked about with the social media and everyone putting their best foot forward, we often suffer in silence, and we usually tend to be our worst critics of our own selves. But little do we know that most people are on the same boat, and that if we do expand our support and outreach, that we're most likely to see that we're not alone. And that's usually we're going to feel the most support and realizing, okay, I'm not alone in this. This is not an unusual feeling that I'm experiencing. And so I think it's best to, reach out to the support systems and don't be too harsh on yourself.
Don't be too harsh on yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there are things that I like to add on, like going to the gym, doing your workout.
Self-care is a big aspect, and that self-care can look like a lot of different things. For me, like maybe for you as well, working out is a big aspect of that. It can look like a lot of different things, whether it's just finding different hobbies, if you like music, or going on walks,
connecting to your passion.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's a lot of different things, whatever your self-care looks like for you. For me also, like a lot of times after a long day of work where I'm working with people, that I just need some time to unwind. And so even just staying at home, watching some Netflix and eating your favorite ice cream, whatever it may be, that's also a form of self-care. So do whatever feels good for you.
I've also interviewed quite a few elderly people who are like in their 90s. And they shared about staying active, going to the gym, going for a walk. I know this elderly man, he goes for a walk every single day. He does at least 2 miles every day in the morning, La Jolla Shores. He's 94 years old. Very sharp mind, good handshake, like very strong guy, great posture. So I would say like keep yourself active, going to the gym, do yoga, or do something that you enjoy. That's also very
definitely
important.
I always say from a mental health perspective that the mind and body are connected. If we're physically not feeling well, mentally we're not going to be feeling well. If we're mentally not feeling well, physically we're not going to be feeling well. And so I think kind of if we're struggling in the mental health aspect, but outside of reaching support, is finding ways to connect with people, maybe in an active sense. Maybe you're just going for a walk outside of the day for like 5 minutes after you have a hard day at work can do wonders compared to kind of self-isolating, which what people tend to do when they're mentally not feeling very well.
People tend to do that?
Yes. Self-isolating is probably a big indicator for depression. And when we tend to close ourselves off from our support systems. And so, and that's also if you're a friend standpoint, if you do tend to notice maybe you're people in your group that are tending to self-isolate, maybe reach them out and, send them a text to see how they're doing, see if they want to hang out, go to the gym, or even just go for a walk, because usually those things go a long way. And like I said earlier, like suffering in silence is something that a lot of people tend to do in island days. And
suffering in silence, people tend to do that.
We don't always want to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable is hard. Sharing how you're feeling is really hard. And so I think being able to reach out to those ones that you might notice those signs can go a long way. You never want to push somebody to talk about something they're not ready to talk about, but even just letting them know that your presence is there, they know that they are not alone. So I think that's a big aspect too.
What do you think the causes are that people are suffering, people who are depressed and dealing with anxiety? What are some of the factors, do you think?
There's a lot. There's more than to touch on it. I think.
What do you think the top 3 might be?
Top 3? I think every person is different. I think we can look into a variety of things. I mean, when I did work within community mental health, and so I was working with really high risk individuals, the biggest kind of indicator is early childhood trauma.
Okay.
And so that's a big aspect, but then that's also when we're looking at like a lot more severe cases, but there could be a lot of things. It could be a life event. You can lose a loved one, lost a job, or feeling maybe lost in terms of career choices.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I see this a lot, and it tends to be the most frustrating for individuals, is when they don't have a pinpoint for it. And like, why am I feeling this way? And I have no reason for it.
Unsure why they're feeling
and those tend to be the
certain
most
way.
frustrating, and that's something that I also like to let my clients know, that it's like, if you don't have a pinpoint reason, let's work together, let's try to find the root, and it's okay, let's give you the skill so that we can cope with those emotions and what's going on in the moment while we kind of try to uncover what the root cause is. And so, but there's literally so many different reasons that could be contributing to someone experiencing depression or anxiety. Anxiety is also a very common one that usually everyone to some degree has experienced.
Sure. I was thinking, because from what I've read in the US, many people don't even have $700 saved in their bank account. And many people are dealing with credit card debt. So with a bad habit in spending and have loads of debt in their credit, with low credit score, unable to maybe purchase a home, I'm thinking a huge financial might have to do with it. And that can create to, when you have financial stress, that can also create a lot of other stresses where you have to work to pay your monthly bill, or be able to even pay your interest for a credit card bill. And that creates a lot of stress, which it spirals into other areas. Sometimes when you're not stressed, it doesn't feel very heavy when you have a load of weight on your shoulder. But then when you're feeling stressed and you're overwhelmed, let's say with financial responsibility, unable to pay your rent or unable to pay your bills on time, with accumulating interests, and you just feel overwhelmed and feel more sensitive, then a little bit something happened in your life, or you think about your past, and then it can trigger into a higher stress, which leads to a bigger anxiety and depression, because you're overwhelmed overall. But then when you have a healthy mindset and you're happy, you're doing well in life, it's different. You may have encountered a challenging situation. You're much more easier. You have a stronger resiliency to deal with that situation.
And a lot of times the people that I see that have a lot of resilience are the people that are struggling the most. And it kind of sounds counterintuitive in the sense where, okay, how if you're struggling with depression or anxiety, how can they show so much resilience? Well, it's because they have so many things on their plate. They may have experienced so much. And that's what I usually like to see, is that the clients that I see that struggle the most, even if they have the most positive mindset, I see so many things stacking up on their plate. It's usually when there's multiple factors stacked against them where it feels a lot more daunting. And it's like, how can I handle this task when I have a million other things on my plate that I can't, like, where do I start? And so I think a lot of times what I do with those clients is like, hey, like, let's try to sort it out in like things of priority. What are the things that we need to get done now? And what are the things that we can wait on? And like, let's break down the steps of how we can do it. Because a lot of times when we're looking at this big hill, like if you're trying to go on a big hike, or like we're using the fitness analogy.
Forget it. I'm going home.
Yeah, so if we look at it, we're like, there's no way that we can do it, when we realize that there's a path that we can go that will ease our way up there.
And so, one step at a time.
Exactly. And so I think just in those senses, just like realizing that, break down the issue and figure out how you can go step by step, rather than looking at it from, okay, I need to go all the way up there.
Right. That wisdom can be applied into many areas. In many areas. In your fitness, you have to go one day at a time.
Exactly.
One rep, one set at a time.
For everything, pretty much everything in life. So
sure. Okay, last question. What is one advice Sarah would give to her younger self?
I think kind of what we were talking about earlier, don't be too hard on yourself. I am also, and I'm as a therapist, that I always tell my clients that it's okay if the things I give them for recommendations, that they don't get it perfect the first couple of times, or they're not as consistent, because I know I'm not perfect in practicing what I own preach, is that I can tell my clients to practice positive affirmations when I can be critical of myself. Well, like, I don't look good today, or I don't like how I feel, and realizing that I need to be kinder to myself. And so now that I'm older, and even though there's some things I still need to work on, I would tell my younger self to don't be too hard on yourself, and that you will, get to where you need to get. You will achieve your goals in due time, and yeah, just be kind to
and
yourself.
everything will turn out fine. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Nice wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you.